Hi everyone, here's a random fact for you. Did you know that pineapples don't grow on trees, but in the ground, like cabbages? Sounds weird, but it's true. See for yourself. But what are we getting at here? It's just that there are a lot of phenomena, events and places in the world that you probably haven't heard about, even though we live in the internet era and there's an abundance of information on it. Today's video will be about things you've never seen. Do you want to see how girls use insects to get their nails done? Or how athletes fly over Dubai in jetpacks? Watch the video until the end and don't forget to subscribe to not miss any new educational videos. Let's get it on. King of the Mountain. Mount Rizzi is the highest mountain in Poland. One of its peaks rises over 8,200 feet above sea level. Every self-respecting local mountaineer must conquer it, and Wojciech Jabczynski is no exception. However, when he reached his destination, he saw something completely unexpected. And we're not talking about breathtaking landscapes or scatters of clouds that lay on the tops of the mountains like cotton wool. Those weren't what surprised him. At the altitude of several thousand feet, Wojciech saw an ordinary red cat that calmly licked its fur and behaved as if it had been living there its whole life, which, in fact, may well be true. The four-legged climber had most likely come to admire the view from the nearest mountain settlement. The opinions in the comments, however, were divided. Some were moved by the fluffy lord of the mountain, and some said that it wasn't safe for the animal to stay in such conditions. Would you have taken such a thrill-seeker home with you?
Przyszła sobie kiciana na rysy.
Smoke bubbles. If you're really nervous today or just feeling sick and tired of everything, these videos will definitely help. Along with the other videos where people cut soap, destroy figures from kinetic sand and do calligraphy, the sight of a bursting smoke bubble is extremely satisfying for some reason. Just look at how cool it is. How are such bubbles made though? It's actually no different from how you make the usual ones. You should simply use smoke instead of air. It can come from your lungs or a special device if you don't want to breathe in the smoke. Many people run experiments just for fun, but some go one step further and create some real works of art, like this girl. In her videos, she combines different techniques of working with soap bubbles, and at first glance, it looks like computer graphics, but it's actually just skill and not deception. Look, you can even put an object inside the bubbles. By the way, smoke bubbles are often used to decorate cocktails. Only in that case, of course, we're not talking about soap bubbles, but about natural liquids with different flavors. That way, when the bubble bursts, the drink is served not only with an impressive smoke, but also a pleasant smell. Absurd manicure. French, gradient, matte, metallic, cat eye. Those are all apparently modern types of manicure many girls know about. It's quite hard to surprise them with new designs, especially in Russia, where this industry is very well developed. But one chain of salons with branches in Moscow, St. Petersburg, Kazan and Los Angeles really unleash their creativity. The studio's Instagram already has over 2 million followers, but they don't stop there. They welcome the hype. For example, how would you like this? Live ants running inside of a long nail. It's hard to believe that someone can seriously wear this on their own hands, except for Halloween, though even then it seems quite unlikely, right? It's not just the questionable aesthetics. Many users accuse the owners of the salon of animal cruelty, even though they said that no ants were injured while creating the manicure. However, the followers are used to such shock content. The salon had repeatedly posted some pretty insane designs. Nails in the form of plastic cutlery that you can actually use, nails made of shrimp heads, nails in the form of ear pods, tree branches, perfume bottles. Write in the comments what kind of manicure you think is the most insane. Sea Spy. The beluga whale is perhaps one of the most peaceful marine animals on the planet. One look at it is enough to realize that it's a very friendly creature, and this impression is not misleading. Beluga whales are really very supportive of humans. Over the entire history of observing them, not a single case of aggressive behavior was recorded. On the contrary, some beluga whales even saved some people from death. This story happened on the coast of Norway. An unknown beluga whale swam to one of the local ships. The people on board board decided to experiment and threw a rugby ball into the water. Well, the naive animal immediately chased the ball and brought it back to the ship like a trained dog. Incredible, right? It's funny that the members of the ship's crew thought it wasn't cute, but rather suspicious. It seemed to them that the beluga whale was too well trained and suspiciously friendly. The Norwegians immediately came up with a theory that the animal was a spy whale trained by the Russian Special Services. Of course, there was no proof of this. By the way, in Russia, some beluga whales and dolphins are indeed trained, though not for military purposes. Delicious record. If you and your friends always run out of pizza during a party, we have a solution for you. This one will definitely be enough for everyone, even for your neighbors. No wonder. The length of this culinary masterpiece is 6,332 feet, and its weight is 17,213 pounds. To make it, 100 chefs gathered in the Californian city of Fontana, and their efforts were not in vain. They earned a mention in the Guinness Book of Records. They left behind the previous record holders from Naples, the homeland of the mouth-watering Italian dish. Of course, making a very sophisticated pizza with a dozen ingredients would be too complicated, so the participants of the show chose the good old classic margherita. The gigantic pizza took more than 17,700 pounds of dough, 3,900 pounds of mozzarella, and more than 5,000 pounds of tomato sauce. Bellissimo. Now let's see what the Italians have to say about it. Drone jump. Amazon promises that very soon, small parcels will be delivered to the client using drones, which means that you can forget about couriers running late, traffic jams, or having to deal with other people when receiving an order. Advances in technologies open up even more daring possibilities for us. For example, the Latvian company Aeronis produces drones which can carry cargo weighing up to 220 pounds. So perhaps in a couple of years, not only books and clothes, but also furniture will be delivered to your home via unmanned drones. The company also plans to use the drone with 28 propellers for sport, for example, to deliver snowboarders to the landing site. The creators have even demonstrated in this video how exactly they're going to do that. Here, you can see how a person flies for several seconds at an altitude of almost 1,000 feet above the ground, and later jumps with a parachute directly from the drone. Seems that we've just witnessed the birth of a new sport. Hardcore flash mob. One of the most unpleasant feelings on Earth is when some speck gets into your eye, and no matter what we do, we just can't remove it. Only water stuck in your ear after active diving could possibly be worse than that. But in the vastness of the internet, there is a place for any madness. A few years ago, for example, there was a flash mob on Instagram, in which a whole crowd of enthusiasts shoved all kinds of stuff into their eyes, from paper clips to sparkles and cotton swabs. Did the description make you feel uncomfortable? Well, we feel the same way, but these guys have their own idea of fun. Let's be honest. Some of the pictures do look pretty, but most of them make you shudder rather than experience aesthetic ecstasy. We hope that no one was hurt during the crazy experiments. After all, it's not that difficult to damage your eyesight doing these kind of things. Superhero flight. Do you remember the movie Spy Kids? Every child who saw it probably dreamed of having a jetpack, like the main characters. We often see this device in science fiction films too, but perhaps you didn't know that it has long existed in real life. Meet the Swiss pilot Yves Rossi. He was the first inventor in the world to develop a jetpack for personal use. With its help, this superhero has already flown over the English Channel and crossed the Alps, and also made a flight around Mount Fujiyama in Japan. In this video, he sets another incredible record, together with his assistant Vince Refit. First, they flew over the desert, and then over the fantastic urban jungle of Dubai. A huge Airbus A380 was flying right next to the brave men at that moment. They reached an altitude of more than 0.6 miles. It's hard to believe that this is not computer graphics. Unusual sandwich. Many people have to give up starchy foods, some because of gluten intolerance and some for the sake of losing weight. But how, for example, can you possibly replace bread in sandwiches? No, not with the green lettuce leaves you might have seen in some fitness burgers. This New Jersey cafe has come up with something better. They make sandwiches and burgers with huge pickles instead of buns. What? Yeah, it sounds really strange, but frankly, it looks delicious. Tell us in the comments, would you try a burger like that? Ice wheels. There are so many types of wheels for cars today. Some are printed on a 3D printer, some have a memory effect, some have moss on discs, and some people even turn them into huge rubber balls. But these wheels seem to be the most impractical of all, although they look very impressive, as if Elsa from Frozen was running nearby. Yes, the Japanese company Lexus really created ice tires for one of their crossovers, but don't think that they simply poured water into a special container, froze it and put it in the right spot. It's much more complicated than that. After all, the car had to drive safely as well. So at first, the wheels were scanned with a laser, and later, experts began to develop a mock-up. The result is spectacular wheels with acrylic elements and LED bulbs. Though to use them, the crossover first had to be cooled to -22 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 days. Nevertheless, the car performed well, and later even drove through the streets of London. In winter, naturally. Natural shampoo. They say that nature already has everything for a person to have a comfortable life, even things we used to consider the inventions of modern civilization. Take, for example, miswak, a toothbrush which, hundreds of years ago, the inhabitants of the Arab and Asian countries made from the arak tree. Today, this miracle of nature found its way into the life of modern people, especially vegetarians and raw foodists. Many people say that such a tool is much more effective than any electronic brushes and whitening toothpaste. And this is the Zingiber zerembet, a plant which grows in the tropical forests of Asia. But it's very different from ordinary ginger, which is usually added to the dishes of Oriental cuisine. An aromatic liquid in the inflorescences of this plant has been used by inhabitants of Polynesia as a shampoo for centuries. That's what we can say for sure. No parabens or sulfates, only natural ingredients. Luxurious life. Even sea lions ride a yacht, and you don't. That's the kind of comment one might leave under this video. Yeah, your eyes aren't deceiving you. This footage was captured in a bay near Olympia, Washington. How exactly the animals ended up there is unknown. Perhaps no one asked the captain of the ship, and he's now sitting in horror in his cockpit while these two animals enjoy the view. Smart birds. Do you know how smart some birds are? Take crows, for example. Scientists have long concluded that these creatures can easily recognize people's faces, so don't make them angry. Otherwise, next time you'll have to deal with a whole flock of them. Here is one experiment that clearly illustrates the analytical capabilities of crows. There's a flask of water standing in front of the bird, and several small stones next to it. But there's one detail. There's a treat floating on the surface of the water, which the crow can't reach with its beak. After throwing a couple of weights into the flask, the bird quickly realizes that the water level rises, so it keeps repeating the action over and over again until it can reach the treat with its beak. In a sophisticated version of this experiment, the bird has to choose from several weights of different sizes. The crow ignores the small ones, using only the largest pieces to achieve a faster result. Well, isn't that brilliant? Resourceful movie fans. What if you really want to watch a movie at the cinema with a friend, but you don't have the money for 2 tickets? Well, there are not many things you could do, and they're all most likely illegal. These 2 guys from California really wanted to see Black Panther, so they decided to pretend to be one very tall man. The cashier, unfortunately, was not fooled by this. We hope that someone from the crowd gave these 2 a ticket. They definitely deserved it. Tree made of water. The hero of the next video knows exactly how to maintain social distance. What you see is the Canadian Fairy Lake, a favourite spot for all local tourists. People come here to look at a lonely tree that grows right from an old log. When the water level in the lake rises, the base of the tree becomes completely invisible. Seems that it just hovers above the mirror surface. It looks so fantastic, as if it were a screensaver on a computer screen. Incredible robot. We all, and kids especially, love to look at animals. We can do it in many places: circuses, zoos, aquariums, but the world doesn't stand still. And in 2020, it doesn't feel humane to use animals for entertainment anymore. Their populations are already declining, so people are looking for new solutions for this industry. For example, they create a circus with holograms or build animatronic robots. Tell us honestly, if we hadn't told you about this, would you have been able to tell that this is not a real dolphin? Hardly. actually. Yeah, this is a real robot, and soon you might well see it in dolphinariums all over the world. Such a device weighs about 595 pounds, runs 10 hours on one charge, and works for about 10 years. The robot's controlled by the operator. A person sends commands, to which the machine responds in real time. However, in the future, it'll be able to work autonomously, using motion sensors and artificial intelligence. Meeting the unknown. Anyone who's never seen snow in their life will react to it like a small child. This is true for the animals as well. Take a look at this baby rhino. This animal is known to live in arid regions, so in the wild it'd hardly be lucky enough to see a winter wonder. Look how happy it is. Just makes you want to get a cup of hot chocolate and watch some Christmas comedy movie. Give this video a like if you feel the same way. Father's gift. Attention, devoted Harry Potter fans may faint watching this next video. This girl's name is Ellie, and she has perhaps the most awesome dad on earth. During the quarantine, when everyone was dying of boredom confined to their apartment, he decided to rebuild the dressing room into a mini version of Diagon Alley, a wizard street hidden from Muggle eyes. Here, you can find Gringotts, Ollivander's Wand Shop, and the Owl Emporium where Harry bought Hedwig. Isn't it a dream come true? Stroller walk. This is the main dilemma of our entire life. When you're small, you want to become an adult as soon as possible, and soon after you start an independent life, you dream of going back to kindergarten and having a nap after lunch. Well, you can actually do that, at least for a couple of minutes. In the United States, a stroller company has decided to release adult versions of its products, so that parents can fully appreciate the comfort of the stroller before making a purchase. But let's be honest, workaholics without kids will certainly want to buy a couple of those, and we totally understand them. Dangerous bridge. In the Indian Ocean between India and Sri Lanka, there's one interesting natural formation called Adam's Bridge. This is a string of shoals and islets with a length of 30 miles, which were used for navigation by European sailors many centuries ago. Most of the route is pretty shallow, except for one large stretch between the mainland city of Mandapam and Ramaswaram Island. Pamban Railway Bridge, one of the most dangerous bridges in the world, passes through this area. A ride along it, of course, offers fantastic views, but it's clearly not for the faint of heart. Scary sculpture. They say the incredibly high temperatures in arid zones often create mirages, optical illusions reflected in the sky. Perhaps this silhouette of a child in the Chinese Gobi Desert might look like a mirage. It's 49 feet long and 13 feet tall. As you might have guessed, it's actually a sculpture that was installed here as a symbol of nature that needs our protection. Hold on a second. Do you want to see some crazy stories from real life? Nothing dull, only action, only adventures, chases and fights, love confessions and sudden betrayals. Don't believe us? Well, follow the link and see for yourselves. Our animation channel Private Diary reveals the deepest secrets. Don't forget to subscribe.